Hello, everyone. We are so excited that you're with us today. And today we have Aaron Hendon. He's a best-selling real estate author. He's a certified mindfulness instructor. He's an international speaker, and he's managing broker of Christine and Company at eXp Real Estate. He's been an award-winning agent since 2013, and he's from New York. I will tell you, I love people from New York. I feel like they walk fast, they talk fast. I always connect with people who are from New York. My whole family is from New York. So we're so excited to have you. Welcome, Aaron.
Chantel, thanks. I appreciate the opportunity to be with y'all. It's very exciting.
Yeah. So what we are talking about today is we are talking about mindset, and we're also talking about how to get out of your own way and how to have some new habits and some new mindset to make people now get on the phone. And if we want to make a difference, we have to change how we're thinking. So, Aaron, tell us what some of the biggest excuses that you are hearing agents right now, because I feel like people are a little bit in the dumps and they're kind of just complaining about this, complaining about that. And it's just excuse after excuse after excuse. What are the top excuses you're hearing right now that your agents are saying and talking about?
I don't know that they've ever changed. I don't know that there are no new excuses. I don't think. I mean, I don't know who to call. I don't want to interrupt them. I don't know what if they yell at me. I don't know what to say. I don't know enough. I need to study more. Let me do a little bit more market research. Then I'll know what to say. It's the same. Whatever they say is the same. It's all in the bucket of, I don't want to move through that uncomfortable space of being with another person. Right. I'd much rather, not do that. And frankly, I would much rather not do that. I get it. I don't like people. I don't like talking to people. My wife, when she goes to order food, right, always talks to the waiter and says, okay, well, what's your favorite? And I always think, oh my God, she's talking to a stranger. It's so irritating, I don't particularly like it. So all the excuses are to avoid that level of uncomfortableness, I think. So whatever they say isn't important, never been important to me, whatever their excuse is. I never handle the excuse.
Okay. So I just moved to Florida, and when I do all my grocery shoppings on Instacart, and they used to call you on Instacart when your groceries were there. And now they just have a new policy that they don't call you. And like in Florida, it's really important that you know your groceries are there, because if you order like ice cream or something cold, right, you need to know right away that your groceries are there. Well, they have a new policy that all they do is text. And I think that what's happening is that this whole shift is moving from just any kind of on the phone communication. And what you just said is really important, because people are saying, well, I don't really want people to call me.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I don't want to bother them and call them. And what I'm hearing you say is you've got to get past that, because you do need, if you want to close a deal, you've got to get on the phone. You're not going to be able to do it on text message. So describe that for me.
Well, I'm multi-day rants on texting doesn't count as communication. I ask them how many contacts they did, and if they count their texts, we fight. They don't get to count how many texts they sent. I don't care how many texts you sent. If they have a back and forth dialogue on text, okay. But even that's only transactional. See, for me, the business is, and we talk about this, everyone talks about this, right? But this is where the authenticity it's where the rubber meets the road. Are we really in a relationship business, or are you in a transaction business? Are you really out to build relationships, or are you really out to get transactions? Because you said something, Chantel, like, how do we make them be on the phone? And it's over for you. It's over for any manager that thinks their job is to make people do anything.
Right.
Over. You're not in a relationship anymore. How is it when your husband or your wife makes you do something? I'm double fingers. No way am I doing that thing, whatever that thing is. I'm not doing it if you're trying to make me do it.
Yeah, we're just building a facility. We're we're having an environment where you can be successful, but you have to choose to be successful. So I want you to do some role playing. I'm going to invite Derek to come on here, and I'm going to also invite Deborah Myers to come on here. And I'd love for you to do a little bit of role play with them on making excuses.
Great.
So who wants to start first?
I can go.
Okay, Deborah, great. So Deborah, you're just being you. This isn't even like, you're not pretending to be an agent. You're just you.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm working with you about how to deal with the agent's excuses.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, good. So perfect. All right. So Deborah, hi.
Hi.
All right. Tell me how it's going with the agents. What's happening? What's happening with your team?
Well, we're not showing any production. It's been a really slow year. And fortunately, Florida Realtors Convention last week said we're on the upswing. So we need to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I totally get it. It's that same way here in Seattle, frankly. It's 40% of the business really did disappear. So I totally with you. But so tell me about your experience in working with your agents. What are they doing?
They're waiting for business to come to them instead of going out and finding the business.
Got it. I get that. Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be nice.
It would be really nice. All right. Now tell me about you and your relationship with having them win at their game. What are you doing?
So we hold weekly meetings and we talk about different strategies. And that's kind of where I feel it stops. We talk about strategies, and I think the follow through is what we really need to focus on.
I get it. At this point, I really do think it would work for me to now mock with Derek, because let me show you how you could work with an agent, because I think this may be missing. Okay. In the thing. So Derek, you're an agent, yes? Tell me how it's going with your production so far this year.
Terrible.
All right. And tell me what that means. Terrible. Tell me what terrible means.
I'm down like 80% from what I should be.
And the should is from what?
Past experience and what I've done in the past.
Okay. So it's 80% less than you have done in the past.
Well, 80% less than what my goal is for the year.
Okay, good. 80% off on your goal of the year. All right. Why do you think that is?
Getting people on the phone, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I hate being told no.
Yeah. I do too. So how many people do you talk to a week?
I try to talk to 5 a day.
5 a day. Okay. And how many do you actually talk to a day?
Maybe 1 or 2.
Okay. So you're talking to 1 or 2 people a day. And how many days a week?
5.
5 days a week. So you're talking between 5 and 10 people a week.
Yes, sir.
And those are people that don't know you're in real estate and now they do.
Right. Or ones that have gone on my website and looked at.
So people that you hadn't talked to before. And when you say talk, do you mean talk or do you mean text?
Talk. I'm old. I don't text.
Okay, fine. Just checking there, Derek. Good. Because talking. So 10 people a week. All right. And if we do the math out on that, and just for the sake of this conversation, you do the math on that, 10 people a week would convert to, I don't know, how many deals have you done?
10, 12.
You can do 12 deals in 8 months talking to 10 people a week. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's 80% less than you would like.
What I want. Yes.
Okay. So we would need to do, this is math, right? 80% more conversations, because business only comes from conversations, right? So if you were going to you would need to talk to another 80% more people, right? Okay. So you got a problem with that?
Just don't like being told no.
I get that. All right, good. So let's look at what we can do for around your orientation for it. Okay. So talk to me about, first of all, just you and what those deals, that 80% more deals, would make available for you.
More money. My family would be better off. The company would be better off. Everybody would be better off.
All right. Well, talk to me about better off. Just what does better off mean? What does that really mean?
More money, more time, more things to do.
Get it a little more real than that. What do you mean more things to do, more time? What would you do with more time?
Enjoy my family now that my it's just me and my wife here.
Yeah.
Son, grandson. Spend more time with family. Traveling.
Traveling, right? You get more downtime. Yeah. Good. And how would your wife be about that?
She'd probably retire from teaching.
Look at that. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's my goal.
That is your goal. And if you had 80% more deals between now and the end of the year, how close to that goal could you get? What would 2025 look like?
Better than 2023 did.
Yeah, anything would look better than 2023 did. Okay, so
I want to tell you, one of the reasons why I joined and I just love Canzel is that I can get 100% commission, I get revenue share, and I get stock. I am making thousands of dollars every single month in revenue share and stocks. And I now don't have to work nights and weekends on real estate anymore. You know, I've actually never been to a real estate agent's retirement party, and I want to be the first one that people are coming to at a young age. And I want to share with you some of my favorite resources. So if you go to joincanzel.com/free, there's a couple that I want you to download. One is a 20 free lead generating PDF. It's going to help you generate leads for free that you can download, as well as there's one on how to double your business. I don't want you to miss it. Go download it today. Joincanzel.com/free.
Let me just chime in real quick because I want you to answer this because there's so many different, conversion rates that people talk about. I've seen different stats where people say, you should try to make about 10 contacts per hour. And if you make 70 contacts, you might get one listing appointment. And then for every listing appointment, you'll take, every 10 listing appointments that you take, you'll take 6 listings. Mm-hmm. There's different numbers, but yeah, I think people need to have kind of that range of what it is. Because how many are you saying, like an average person, if they're making X amount of contacts per hour?
50 a week. 50 a week. You need to talk to 50 new people every week.
Okay. And then
Derek's a freak. If Derek can talk to 10 people a week and do 10 deals in 8 months, he can do a deal a month out of 10 people. That's an amazing conversion ratio. That's ridiculously high. But that's Derek's number. If I have someone who's got a track record, I don't care what the standards are. I just use 50 as a place for a new agent to shoot for, to get to, so that we can see what their real conversion rate is. Derek's got one, so I wouldn't even mess with the 50 a week, but we start at 50 a week. Everyone does 50 a week. That includes your open houses. That includes everything. You need to talk to 50 people that don't know.
And that's an actual conversation. You're saying not attempts. That means you have spoken with 50 people per week.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, not attempts. I don't care how many dials it takes to make that. No interest in the number of dials it took to make. I mean, you could keep the dials for yourself so you know how many dials you need to do to get to 50. You could keep that for yourself, and then you know how many hours it takes to dial that many numbers, so you know how much time to block to get.
And that 50 contact, and I like that. The 50 contacts per week, on average, how many closings or appointments is that leading to? And then out of those appointments, how many conversions is that?
Just depends on how
have a number baseline.
It depends how new they are in the business and where they're at and and that's what we can then start to do. But for every 50 conversations, you should be able to add, I don't have them right in front of me, but of the 50, you should be able to add about 20 of them to your database. 20 of them should say they want some kind of follow-up, somewhere in that range. Not quite half should want some kind of follow-up. And then depending on where they are in the process and like that, out of those 20, you should be able to get 2 or 3 appointments, and those 2 or 3 appointments should turn into something. Should be able to get one good, solid, hot lead moving toward closing every week. A couple of appointments, at least 3 appointments, 20 new people in the database that you're now nurturing on not lead gen time. That's lead follow-up time, those 20 other people that are now in your database.
And so that means for the 50 people that you're talking to, that really only breaks down to if every single day you say, I'm not going to end my day until I have spoken with 10 people.
Well, that's a 5-day week, and no one works a 5-day week. So it's really like 8 or 7 because everyone's working a 6-day week. Mm-hmm. But okay, so if you just want to get into that aspect of it, Chantel, the first thing I would do with my agents is I'd say, let me see your schedule. Because if they're not working a 40-hour week, and they're not, then we're not talking to them about anything else. Because you don't have a job. You got a hobby. You sit around and do cat videos, and you're not actually on the phone. So let's not talk about it, because you need to have your 50 conversations. Mm-hmm. And if they're consistently not having 50 conversations, I know they're not working a 40-hour week. I don't care what they tell me. And a 40-hour week is like, for any of us on this call, 40-hour week would be a delight, would be like, yay, that's halftime.
But what's frustrating is that then what they'll do is they'll say, okay, I'm not working. I'm not going to do this for 40 hours and then, or even 30 hours. Good. And then have my flexible schedule. And then they'll quit and then go get a 40-hour job at Lowe's or Home Depot.
Let me go back to Derek. Let me just go back to Derek okay. Cause this is where the 40-hour, this is where they will, my job as the coach is to get Derek what he wants. And Derek, you want to spend time with your wife. You want to retire your wife. You want to spend time with the grandkids. You want to travel. Is there and I would get up in front of me as his coach, that vision. And we're not going to take the time to do it, but my vision boards, right? I have my vision boards up. I got my plans. If I don't have in front of me when I'm coaching Derek, what Derek wants for his future, I'm not getting my job. I cannot get my job done. At best, I can try and get him to get on the phone. At best, I could try to get him to do something. And I don't want to live my life trying to get people to do something. Me personally, I'm not going to live my life trying to get other people to do things. I'm just not that person. I don't want that job. I don't want a 40-hour a week job, Chantel. I don't want to be the row master. So I want Derek to have, let's just use as a placeholder in this conversation. It's not nearly rich enough to move on, but we haven't had an initial, but as a placeholder, Derek, you want to retire your wife in 2025, yes?
Yes.
All right, great. So at your conversion rate, we're talking about, going from 10 to, I don't know, really at your conversion rate, if you did 50 conversations a week, you'd be, let's just say that's the next number. Okay. That's the next goal.
Right.
Okay. We'll see what 50 produces. Okay. And if you could see the way, Derek, that every time you looked at your phone and you thought, okay, this is my path, and that's who was doing the phoning, Derek, and that's who was hosting the open houses, and you took the time, you didn't just write it down in a journal. You took maybe 60 seconds, 2 minutes, maybe of just breathing and sitting with your eyes closed, just noticing and getting straight for yourself that who's picking up the phone today is someone who's retiring his wife and the life that provides.
I like that.
Would that make a difference, Derek?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes.
Now, one other thing about that is, now let's talk about the people you're calling. The people you're picking up the phone and to talk to, who are they?
People that need my help.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? You ever been on a transaction, Derek, where the person on the other side of the table was so bad you think, I can't imagine that their client knows how bad they are?
Yes.
You have, haven't you? And you've been on the other side of the table where you think, I can't believe this is getting paid the same amount I am.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're saving people from those people. You've got something to contribute to them. If you don't call them, they go down the road of Redfin. They get the next Zillow agent online that they find, because everything is geared now towards making it friction, towards Instacart.
Right.
And Instacart doesn't show up. It's such a bad idea for the consumer to have this thing get frictionless. But at any rate, you're saving them from that. You're retiring him, and you are going to be their superhero.
Here's what I want to do, Aaron, because I want to make it I want people to leave this call, because I think what you're saying is so good. And I just want to kind of make it into steps. So what I'm hearing you say is, step one, everyone needs to write down what their goal is and what their vision is of what they want to accomplish, right? So like Derek said, I want to retire my wife by 2025. So right now in the chat, I want everyone to write down, what is your vision? One thing that you want to, it doesn't have to be the main thing, but we're going to write down a few things that you want to accomplish and what you want to do. And then step 2 would be to kind of go, okay, what does winning look like to be able to achieve this goal? And what I'm hearing you say is start with something like, every single day, I'm going to have 10 conversations. Let's just pretend they're working a 5-day week. I'm going to have 10 conversations every single day. And that means no matter how many calls I make before today ends, what winning looks like is I'm going to make 10 conversations. And then step 3 is I have to figure out, like, if someone says, okay, well, I don't even know, who am I going to call? Like, I start running out of, like, one of the things people say is like, who am I going to call? Like, I've already called a bunch of my friends. I can't just keep calling the same people.
No, you can't.
Now what? Now what am I going to do to make 10 conversations? What do I have to do?
All right, good. Well, it's a really great question. So let's see. Are there, out of the 8 billion people on the planet, right? How many of them know you?
How many would know me? I don't know.
Not many, right? Not many. So there's no lack of people.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yes.
You have plenty of people you could talk to. So now we're just talking about getting creative about how to introduce yourself to them as their superhero.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're just going to find creative ways to do that. So what are some creative ways to do that? I mean, the basic ways to do it are open houses, and let's maximize your open houses. So how many open houses are you going to do this week?
2.
All right. And how many people normally show up at those?
Probably 4.
Okay. And what about door knocking around the open houses? Do you door knock?
Maybe 10 out of those.
Good. So I would door knock 100 houses, right? Or at least 80, 40 on the other side of the street and 20 on either side, but somewhere in there. And if you door knocked 80 houses, you could probably talk to another 8 people, right? So now you got 4 at each open house and then 8 more people. So that's 16 people just in the weekend. Okay. And then you teach them you got first time home buyer classes. You could host client appreciation events or open. I mean, anyway, I would brainstorm with you, Chantel, about ways that for you speak to you that are your expression of meeting new people. And I just try and stay away from, you have to do this. I think you have to try everything, but I think you're going to find the ones that work for you. But Chantel, the only thing I want to talk to you about really is how close are you getting to, what Deborah just put in there, ending her debt or retiring your wife. The only thing I am talking to my agents about is what they're committed to in life. I don't mention the phone or the number of people they're going to talk to unless it's a pathway for them to get what they want.
So do you have people write down 3 to 5 things kind of that their vision board, like on your vision board? Yeah. Can you share a couple things that are on yours so people can?
Well, mine are just, our vision boards are just sort of vague and in general things that make me happy, travel and diamonds and food. There's a big hamburger on there. I like eating. So, just things that make me happy. But for the agents, we have a little, I have a little phoning guide. There's something I could share with your team, a little phoning guide I could, where people write down what they want in their life. And if you're coaching people to get that, I just don't know how to say it any other way. Unless you're coaching people to get what they already want, you're trying to get them to do what you want. And that's just never going to produce the results.
I love that. It's
going to leave you with the experience of being in a job.
And Aaron, I have a question. As a manager, my agents are always telling me that they don't know where to get the phone numbers so that they don't violate the do not call list.
Well, I don't know. We use Cole Realty Resource. I don't know if you guys, and they scrub it, or Mojo scrubs it, both of those. And I'm sure Red X scrubs them, and if you, that's how we do it. I mean, and then we circle prospect around the open houses, or do they, just sold calls or just listed calls are fine. The excuse to talk to people isn't the important part. They're only telling you that because they're not connected to what they want. They're only telling you, any excuse they're telling you is because they don't see what you're asking them to do as a pathway to get what they want. If they saw it as a pathway to get what they wanted, they would do it. They'd be like, yeah, I'll do that. I'll host that open house to retire my wife. And if they get connected to who and who they are for the people they're calling, that's the other half of that equation. They're not some salesperson. They're like, they're calling, they're coming with value. Hey, you're a neighbor. I wanted to invite you to this open house. It's a neighbors only open house. How exciting.
Well, I want you to, we're out of time, but I want you to end on this note. What can we say? Like, because what you talk about is with the mindset. Like, I think one of the biggest ones is like, I don't want to door knock, or I don't want to call someone, because in my mind, I get annoyed when people call me, right? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I get annoyed when I get that call. So I don't want to make that call because I get annoyed when other people do that.
All right, so
how would you address that with?
I don't want you to make that call. You get annoyed when someone calls you and they say, hi, how are you? You got a couple minutes? Hey, I got this great product. Glad. Thanks for asking. Just the canned, scripted bullshit.
Yeah.
Call center call. I don't want you to do that call either. So good. We're on the same page, Chantel. Don't do those calls. I want you to call someone with value. I want you to call someone with something that you have that they might want. I want you to call people with an invitation. I want you to call people with something that they could potentially want.
Give me some examples of that. What would be the calls for that?
We have a neighbor only open house at this new listing down your street. It's for neighbors only. You want to come in? That's an invitation. And then in that invitation, there's, all kinds of different pathways that we go talk about the value of their house, what their plans are, anything like that. That's an invitation. Hey, I wanted you to know I'm a local realtor and my team is rented the movie theater in this city, in our city, and we wanted to invite you and your kids to come see The Incredibles for free. That's an invitation. Costs you $300 to rent the movie theater. Seriously, we do this all the time, right? We're having taco night at a local brew pub. Great. Come on down. Invitation. You could invite people to, hey, listen, I don't know if you know, but 2 doors down or down the block, a house there just sold for 3 times over at, or whatever it is, whatever, just sold. And there were 3 other people that didn't get that house, which means a bunch of people want to move into your neighborhood. I told my clients, I would do the due diligence to see, do you know any neighbors that are talking about selling? I'm not asking him. I'm asking him to scoop on his neighbors. So I'm not calling to sell them something. I don't, you could even have them pick up the phone. Listen, hey, this is a cold call. I hate it when I get those. So if you want to hang up, just let me know. And I tell you that opening, they go, no, what do you need? I swear to God, it's a great, have people be authentic about what their concerns are. Don't worry about trying to get them over their concerns. Your job is not to get them over their concerns. Their job is to get themselves over their concerns. And they will. They really will. If you stop trying to make them do stuff, they will stop resisting. It's wild.
And I love how you have that right here on your vision board, right here to the left of your desk. Everyone should do that. They should have some kind of board here. And when they're saying to themselves, you know what? I don't want to make another call. I've only had 2 conversations all day. They can now just turn their chair, look over and go, here is my vision. Here's what I want. Here's my goal. Here's what I've said I'm going to do. And then they can go back to saying, okay, I'm not ending my day until I have these 10 conversations. Well, this was wonderful. We're out of time.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a rating and a review so we can get this out to more agents. And tune in next week for another power-packed episode. This is the Millionaire Real Estate Podcast.